Welcome, and thank you for joining us as we help you prepare for year-end using Ascentis HR, Payroll, and Time. You'll learn how to best prepare your organization ahead of time to make year-end as seamless as possible. Today, we'll go through how to update holiday dates, update user-defined pay cycle dates, prepare for ACA, and prepare for end-of-year-end payroll. Holidays and time need to be added in ahead of time before the process runs. So when your organization recognizes holidays, we enter in the dates in the system, and then when the holidays arrive, the system automatically posts the holiday hours to the timesheet for any employee that is eligible to earn it. Updating holidays ahead of time, make sure that your timesheet is correct as you're processing payroll and reviewing the total hours. Holidays are a company setup item, meaning holidays are company-wide and then based off their rules. So as I go through the next slides here, we'll walk through how to add in the new holidays. Going into the company setup category, going to our holidays page and clicking on new, and then entering in the important information. Making sure we enter in the date that the holiday is observed. So keeping in mind that if your holiday falls on a Saturday or Sunday when your organization is not open, you may need to change that holiday date to be when it's observed, the preceding Friday or the following Monday. Put in a description that makes sense to your organization, as this is shown on calendars throughout the system. And then also indicate the different holiday rules that observe this date. So in the panel on the screen here, you'll notice on the left-hand side, I have 2 holiday rules. And on the right-hand side, I have 3. The items on the right-hand side indicate which employees will receive this holiday on their timesheet automatically. Any employees assigned to the holiday rules on the left-hand side would not get this holiday automatically posted to their timesheets. You'll continue to do this with each new holiday for your organization for that year. If you do happen to know any future holidays for the next 10 years, you're more than welcome to add in all of those holiday dates at one time. As long as the holidays are populated in the system here before the actual holiday, then your timesheets will show correctly when you're processing payroll. The next section is going to go through how to update the user-defined pay cycles in the system. A user-defined pay cycle is when your organization does not have a static, definable pay cycle, meaning you're not bi-weekly, you're not semi-monthly, your pay cycle days will change throughout the year. I've seen this a lot when it comes to educational facilities, where some of your pay periods might be longer when you're over Christmas holiday or over the winter holidays. Your pay cycle might actually be 3 weeks because there's nobody really in service. When you have these type of pay cycles, if you don't set them up ahead of time, you get errors when you log into the system. So in order to update these pay cycles, you will need to go to each of the payrolls. So on the screen ahead of us, it shows us going into our rule setup and clicking on our policy page, clicking on the appropriate policy. So if you do have multiple policies, you will have to update these individually and add in your pay period dates per policy. On the image on the left-hand side, you'll see number 4 there, and that's going to show you where to add in the start dates of each of your pay periods. You may have to scroll pretty far down the page if you've been using the system for a while and have always used the custom pay cycles. Once you're done adding in the start dates, when you save the page, our image on the right-hand side shows us the end date of that pay cycle. Every day in the year has to be part of a pay cycle. So even if your organization doesn't really classify Saturdays or Sundays as part of a pay cycle, the system still requires them to be a part of one, even if your employees aren't working on those days. You will need to update this for each of your different pay policies within the system. Optionally, you might want to run any reports in the system to audit the employee setup. One of the reports that I like to run is called the Employee Profile Report. This report includes everything about an employee within the time system. It's going to include things like their access group assignment, pay policy assignment, pay category assignment, which is important because that connects to the accrual rules and points rules within the system. This report is found in the human resource section of the reports, and it's best ran in Excel as it does have all of the columns about everything within the organization. Once you run it, you can narrow down the columns, review the information, and update the employees on their employee info page. This will ensure that the start of the year will start off right for those employees. And now I'll pass it off to Tina as she goes over the ACA reporting.
All right. Thank you, Crystal. So with that, we're going to talk about preparing for year-end in Ascentis HR. It's all about ACA reporting, right? Data integrity. Auditing the integrity of your data is key. Compensation records, employment statuses, names, and social security numbers. Inconsistencies in these items can cause invalid coding on your ACA reporting. Did you know the ACA affordability widget can save you hours of reconciliation at the end of the year? The affordability analysis will provide relative information toward making any necessary corrections. If you haven't set up your widget, don't worry, you can do it now. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Here are the 3 questions you'll need to answer. 1, what is your safe harbor? Once you've produced your Ascentis W-2 for the current year, you can use this safe harbor. Otherwise, federal poverty level or monthly rate of pay should be selected. Your broker can assist you with this if you're unsure. Number 2, do you have a smoking cessation program? And number 3, which plans should you include in your reporting? When you go in to set up your ACA affordability widget, you'll go to your admin settings menu, you'll select widgets, and then your ACA affordability widget. You'll want to select 1, your safe harbor, 2, your smoking cessation program, and 3, verify that the included plans only include your medical. Once you do that, enable the widget, save, and then you can reset the history on the widget. This process will take overnight. Plan affordability widget is what the widget is referred to, and it's in a convenient space in your ACA reporting area. Review the widget each month for any changes to the percentage of affordability and/or eligibility. Identify issues on the analysis now instead of waiting until the end of the year. You should expect to see something like this when you review the analysis report. You can filter the report by only non-eligible or by affordability exceptions. In this case, we've highlighted a non-eligible employee that may need to be looked at. They may need to be eligible. Here, we're analyzing the employee's record. We're looking at why the system thinks the employee is ineligible for this plan. By looking at our eligibility calculations, we can see that the system is looking at a full-time status of executive. They are not considered eligible for this plan. Therefore, the eligibility is showing as ineligible. One of 2 things need to happen. Either the employee stays as ineligible, or you'll need to go into your plan build to make an adjustment to who is eligible for a particular plan. Then you can also review the employee's employment status. If their employment status should be changed to just a full-time status, or maybe from part-time to full-time, this can cause ineligibility depending on what is built into your plan. Status effective dates can also cause inconsistencies or inaccurate coding as well. You'll also want to review the compensation record. You'll want to think about, was the employee paid for the entire reporting year? If not, coverage would not be considered affordable. 2, all employees should have a payroll directory associated with their record. Now you're ready to prepare for your ACA reporting setup. All things ACA can be found on the Ascentis community. Measurement and administrative periods is going to be your first step in your reporting setup. So as you can see here, it's just a matter of setting your measurement period and your administrative period. The second step is going to be the plan inventory. You'll select if your plans are self-funded and if you're considered a multi-employer. Indicate if your plans offer minimum essential coverage and minimum value. Then select if your plans include a conditional spouse coverage surcharge. ACA employment statuses is your third step in the process. This is where you'll map your statuses to what the IRS options are in the drop-down options. The fourth and final step of your setup is to indicate your EINs or your federal IDs. You'll map your federal IDs to your payroll codes. Then enter your applicable large employer name and address for the official forms. That's it. Save your changes. Congratulations, you're now ready to process and publish your ACA reporting in the new year and create 1095-Cs with Ascentis. All right, so now I'll hand it over to Chris so he can talk about preparing for year-end in payroll.
Thank you, Tina. We will now dive into the payroll section of our presentation. When we think of year-end in payroll, we think of quarterlies, W-2s. Let's start by discussing a few key dates around when to process such items. The final timely processing deadline will be Wednesday, December 29th, 2 business days prior to the last business day of the year, Friday, December 31st. This includes any regular payrolls, bonus runs, or adjustments to ensure they're posted with the check date of December 31st. The deadline for quarter 4 filing will be Friday, December 31st by using the quarter end wizard within the payroll application. This is to ensure support and the tax department review and submit data timely to Ceridian. The deadline for W-2 sign-offs will be the following Wednesday by using the W-2 wizard in the desktop application. There's also an annual turnaround step not associated with either the quarter end or the W-2 wizard, but it does need to be completed before you begin your first journal of the new year. And we'll get into details about all 3 of these items here in a moment. Paperless W-2s are due to be posted online and in the mobile app around mid-January, and paper W-2s are expected to be shipped by the end of the month. Shipment dates will vary by directory. Now let's discuss a few 2021 holidays and Ascentis closures coming up. We will be open for Columbus and Veterans Day, but the Federal Reserve will be closed. We will be closed on Thanksgiving and the day after, and will be open a partial day on Christmas Eve. Payrolls can be processed on Christmas Eve up until 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific. We will be closed on Christmas and New Year's days. Both fall on Saturdays this year, so both will be taken the following Mondays. Please review your processing calendars to verify the above holiday closures will not impact your processing schedule. As a reminder, there is a 2 business day requirement from the processing date to the check date. If you have questions, please contact support for more information. If you are anticipating needing any custom programming for payroll items such as general ledger, retirement files, employer match programs, or even custom reports, the deadline to have these projects quoted and approved and ready to begin will be October 15th. If you have any questions, please contact your account manager for details. Calendars within payroll are a bit different than the ones discussed earlier for time. Payroll calendars are accessible through the desktop application, yet not available on payroll and self-service. Client support is glad to assist with creating your calendar for the new year. We then ask clients to review period begin dates and end dates, check dates, processing dates, and any specific pay or deduction items that should be taken or paid with each run. Also verify any bank or company holidays that might cause certain runs to be processed early or have a different check date. Next, we'll review a few common questions and practices that come up during year end, such as bonus checks and off-cycle runs. If you're processing a bonus check for an employee, there are a few questions you might want to ask. Is the bonus code I'm using set up to be taxed as the company expects? Is the bonus code at the supplemental rate or based on the employee's pay frequency and tax withholding? Will the bonus checks be live or direct deposit? Will regular deductions be withheld? And will the checks be gross-up checks? If you need assistance or have any more questions, please contact our support team and we'd be happy to help. Another area covered during year end is posting annual fringe benefits. A few examples are S Corp medical expenses, company car expenses, gift card wages, and group term life benefits, to name a few. Best practice is to post these year-end items either with a regular payroll or before the last run of the year. This will allow any employee's taxes to be calculated and collected from the employee. If these items are posted after the last payroll run of the year, gross-up checks may be needed to account for the tax withholding. Contact support if you need any assistance, and we'd be glad to help. Make sure to register for any new states you've started to pay in during the last year. Sometimes a company grows so fast they don't realize they've started doing business in states they aren't even registered for. If you have wages in a state that you have not registered for, please contact our tax department to get information on where to register. Registration information must be received before processing the final payroll of the year. All states must have an ID before the W-2s are issued. State IDs are reviewed during each quarter end wizard, as well to help identify missing states throughout the year. Another common item that is to correct any wages paid under incorrect states. If an employee has been paid in an incorrect state and you need assistance making the correction, please contact our support team and we'll be glad to help. Corrections need to be completed before the end of the quarter and year end to avoid amendments and W-2Cs. It's also that time of year when each state sends out new SUI rates for each employer. Make sure you gather up all the SUI rate notices you get from all the states that you're registered in and forward them to our Ascentis tax team at tax@ascentis.com. The best time for all clients to enter these new rates for the new year is after you've completed verifying your fourth quarter returns. State SUI rates are reviewed during each quarter end as well to ensure rates are being used throughout the year. New earning and deduction codes are often added throughout the year. Every effort is made by our staff to help set up codes specific to your company in the correct W-2 boxes. But these boxes on the W-2 relate to certain types of benefits, special taxes, reimbursements, non-taxable pay, employer contributions, and special employee types that fall into certain definitions to be reported on these W-2 boxes. You'll want to review the W-2 instructions along with the W-2 setup under the Report tab. This step is also included in the W-2 wizard. For your last payroll run of the year, verify any employees who went over any annual contribution limits for 401k or HSA have been reviewed. You can run your quarter end reports early. This provides the figures to determine the amounts the employee is due back as a refund, and the opportunity to update the payroll system. The reports can be found by going under Create a Report and the Quarter End menu. This step is also included in the Quarter End wizard throughout the year. Once all payrolls and entries for fourth quarter have been recorded, the Quarter End wizard must be complete. The wizard will walk you through reviewing reports to ensure your tax returns are filed correctly. This wizard is available every quarter, and Ascentis requires the fourth quarter to be completed before you can sign off on your W-2s. There are over 20 reports built in to the Quarter End wizard to help review your data, such as verifying employee Social Security numbers, missing BLS codes, 401k and HSA contribution limits, negative federal and state wages, negative W-2 amounts, FICA and California SBI differences, exempt employees, exempt amounts for reciprocal employees, local wages and taxes, and state SUI setups. Again, the deadline for the quarter 4 wizard is December 31st. It's also a great recommendation to begin pre-balancing your W-2s. Even though all the wage payments have not been completed for the year, it's never too early to review what's been paid so far. Employees might have wages in incorrect states. Third-party or retirement plan boxes may be marked incorrectly. And employees might have local wages in the wrong jurisdictions. It's better to find mistakes and make corrections before W-2s are issued. Please note wages entered on a W-2 are based on check dates and not by the pay period the employee was working. There are over 20 reports built into the W-2 wizard to help review your data. General company information, state tax IDs, W-2 setups, employees with negative amounts, exempt employees, retirement plan enrollees, third-party sick earnings, employees without W-2s, employees with foreign addresses, multi-state W-2s, and electronic-only W-2 settings. Again, the deadline for the wizard is going to be January 5th. The last step of the W-2 wizard is to let us know where to send any printed W-2s. Either ship them back to a company address, or we can put them in the mail to the employee's address. Any employer copies will be provided by a PDF download through the application. Employees can enroll in paperless W-2s in either the Preference section of the desktop app or desktop ESS, or the W-2 section of the mobile app. Now is your chance to encourage employees to enroll in paperless W-2s. Employees will not see their W-2s in ESS or the mobile app until an authorized ESS admin user for your directory has published them in self-service. Publishing is ready typically within 2 weeks of completing the W-2 wizard. An email will go out to the admin on file to notify them that the W-2s are ready to be published. When published, an email will go out to the employees letting them know their W-2 is ready for review. Every year, clients are required to complete the annual turnaround step prior to creating a check with the check date in the new year. This step is only accessible in the Payroll app and desktop application. 2 primary things are accomplished with turnaround. One is to move the payroll header record into the new year so your system is ready to calculate a check with the new year date. Second is to reset any deduction accumulators that you want to start accumulating fresh from at the beginning of the new year. The annual turnaround process is not associated with the quarter end or the W-2 wizard. So the order of completion is not necessarily before or after the wizards, but before you begin building your first 2022 payroll. And with that, we'll wrap up for payroll. That concludes our presentation. We hope you feel better prepared for year-end this year.